Are you saying that the allegations towards the journalists are bogus? Fuck yes, dude. What the fuck? The reason why I showed you what is going on in Lebanon and how Israel so routinely fucking lies was to help you understand why Israel is exterminating every fucking Palestinian journalist and not allowing any Western journalists to go into Gaza. It is to shut off any and every fucking avenue of on-the-ground reporting as they conduct their ethnic cleansing campaign. Yes, they are doing an ethnic cleansing campaign, and yes, they are trying to do it in broad daylight at a time when people have access to this information. Holy, that is so crazy. Israel's up to Israel shit once again. First, they claimed that there were, gold nuggets under the fucking Lebanese hospital, signaling that they would blow up the Lebanese hospital. But considering that Lebanon is not like Gaza, where there are actually Western journalists that can operate within Lebanon, in spite of the fact that they are still bombing like a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Tyre and all this other stuff, they're still endlessly and relentlessly, mercilessly bombing Lebanon, Beirut specifically. There was, however, video footage disproving the insane claims that they were making. Here it is. BBC Today were given full access to the hospital Israel is bombing because it says Hezbollah secretly stores its gold underneath.
We're on level -2 in the Al Sahel hospital. The area just behind me is where medical waste is stored. Even that was opened up for us to have a look. The morgue was opened up. All of the drawers were opened to show us there was nothing inside. Doctors have been opening piles of surgical scrubs, boxes of equipment, very, very keen to show us everything there is to see and to prove that there is nothing here. Well, I'm just coming now from the basement on -2 up to -1. We've been brought around the hospital by doctors. We've also been allowed to move around on our own. Doors have been opened for us in every area, cupboards. We've been allowed to see what there is to see. Now, the hospital staff are adamant that there is no hidden bunker here containing millions of dollars of cash or gold, as the Israelis have claimed. They say this is just a hospital where patients were being treated last night and where they had to be evacuated from the emergency area at great speed because doctors were worried for the lives of the patients and also worried for the staff.
So, will there be any punishments for Israel lying like this? No, of course not. Don't be fucking ridiculous. However, after journalists in Lebanon toured the subterranean floors of Sahel General Hospital and found no tunnels filled with Hezbollah gold and millions of dollars, the IDF's Arabic spokesman is now claiming the entrance to those chambers is hidden, and it also leads to Nasrallah's bunker. To the journalists in Beirut, including those who participated in today's media tour, below are the details and instructions for entering the shelter we revealed yesterday, belonging to the terrorist Hezbollah. According to the information available to us, one of the entrances to the underground shelter, the so-called Hasan Nasrallah, is located on the eastern side of the HasanAbi building, located south of the hospital. The basement floor, located on the second floor, stores more than half a billion dollars in cash and gold. Now, the question, I guess, should be, is that valid? Anyway, yeah, we would like to emphasize that the entrance is hidden. They're like, no, you don't understand. We made a 3D printed, CGI thing. Okay. We made a 3D CGI render, so it's real, which warrants us bombing the hospital. We're going to bomb the hospital. You can't stop us. You are being anti-Semitic if you won't let us bomb the hospital. But that's not where this ends. Because while they're also simultaneously blowing up Beirut suburbs like a bunch of fucking violent madmen, they're also accelerating the actual, the additional genocide that they're doing in fucking Gaza, specifically in northern Gaza. Now, in the process of this accelerated genocide, the reason why I brought up the counter narrative, the reason why I brought up the fact that when Western journalists are allowed to actually clarify that Israel is lying by directly going there and doing reporting, they can't really do that in Gaza. There's no Western journalists in Gaza that are allowed. There are, however, Palestinian journalists in Gaza, specifically in North Gaza. Israel has obviously killed hundreds of them, but there are still some that are operating in Gaza, in northern Gaza in particular. One of those is a person that I'm in contact with, a person that I have talked about before. Israel has now basically put out a hit on 6 of them. Okay? 6 of the remaining journalists, Al Jazeera journalists in fucking Gaza, North Gaza in particular. I said, this is a hit list. Israel's preemptively trying to justify assassinating the likes of HasanAbi, who was one of the few brave reporters left in North Gaza to cover Israel's ruthless campaign of famine and genocide, which Biden offered a 30-day red line to. You know what happens when they do this. Khalil Sayegh says, dangerous development. The Israeli military claimed that 6 Al Jazeera journalists were discovered to be operatives of Hamas or Islamic Jihad. However, the IDF has not published any evidence to support this claim, stating it is based on intelligence. This is dangerous development and likely a first step towards targeting the few journalists still active in Gaza. Okay? Just understand what the fuck is going on right now. Okay? Here is, ironically enough, an IDF veteran who is the Times of Israel's military correspondent, Emmanuel Manny Fabian, who is basically repeating this propaganda that he knows will cause journalists in North Gaza to be executed by the Israeli state. The IDF says it has uncovered documents in the Gaza Strip that it claims reveal that 6 Al Jazeera journalists are operatives in the Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror groups. The journalists named by the IDF are Anas al-Sharif, Allah Salameh, Hossam Shabbat, Ashraf al-Sarraj, Ismail Abu Omar, and Talal al-Aruki. According to the IDF, al-Sharif was the head of a rocket launching squad and a member of the Nukba force in Hamas's Nusayrat battalion. Salameh was the deputy head of the Shabura battalion's propaganda unit in Islamic Jihad. Shabbat was a sniper in Hamas's Beit Hanun battalion. Al-Sarraj was a member of the Islamic Jihad's Burej battalion. Abu Omar served as a training company commander in the East Khan Yunis battalion. What if I told you literally every Israeli journalist was a soldier? Of course. We know that already. That's why I brought up the fact that obviously IDF veteran Emmanuel Manny Fabian saying this makes it additionally weird. You know? IDF veteran and now Times of Israel military correspondent Emmanuel Manny Fabian saying this is extra weird. Anyway, Abu Omar served as a training company commander in the East Han Yunis battalion, and he had been wounded in an Israeli airstrike several months ago, and Al-Aruki was a team commander in Hamas's Nusayrat battalion. The military releases the documents, which it now says shows personnel spreadsheets, lists of training courses, telephone books, and salary documents. It says the documents unequivocally prove that the journalists functioned as members of Hamas and Islamic Jihad's respective military wings. These documents are proof of the involvement of Hamas terrorists in the Qatari media network Al Jazeera, the IDF says in a statement. They're doing this because they want to assassinate them. They're doing this because they are putting a hit out on them. Okay? That's why they're doing this. Just so you understand. They've killed almost all of the Palestinian journalists in Gaza. There are very few that remain. The IDF says that the named journalists are spearheading the spread of Hamas propaganda on Al Jazeera, especially in the northern Gaza Strip. Why especially in the northern Gaza Strip? Specifically because the northern Gaza Strip is where they are pummeling. They are currently starving the North Gaza Strip. One of the things that Hossam has done time and time again is speak out against the lies of humanitarian aid being received by the people. Here is one of his last reports. Northern Gaza is being wiped out completely. The north is now being entirely evacuated, and in the late hours of the night, the occupation army is forcing thousands of families from displacement centers and their homes to leave and flee via Salah al-Din Street. In these late hours of the night, and in this severe cold, people are now sleeping on the ground, with the sky as their only cover, sitting on the roads now, on Salah al-Din Street, not knowing where to go. After the displacement centers have become overcrowded with displaced people, families are now, at these late hours of the night, on the streets and the roads after 19 days of siege and extermination. People are now on the streets, not knowing where to go or where they will sleep tonight. I don't know what to say, but the Committee to Protect Journalists is ringing the alarm bells once again. The Committee to Protect Journalists is aware of the accusations made by the IDF against several journalists in Gaza, accusing them of being members of militant groups. Israel has repeatedly made similar unproven claims without producing credible evidence. After killing Al Jazeera correspondent Ismail Al-Ghul in July, the IDF previously produced a similar document which contained contradictory information showing that Al-Ghul, born in 1997, received a Hamas military ranking in 2007 when he would have been 10 years old. They kill them, they execute them, and if anyone dares to speak out against said execution, they'll turn around and be like, here, shut the fuck up, he was Hamas. Meanwhile, here are civilians being transferred from northern Gaza to Israeli concentration camps, blindfolded and in cages. Similar sights occurred during the Nakba, by the way.
From Dropsite News, I'm joined by my colleague Sharif Abdel Quddus, and we're going to be talking about Israel's campaign of extermination that's been unleashed on the Palestinians in the north of Gaza over the past 3 weeks. A starvation campaign, an intense bombing campaign, forced expulsions. But before we get into that, there is a very, very dire situation unfolding with the journalists on the ground inside of Gaza. The Israeli
Are you saying that the allegations towards the journalists are bogus? Fuck yes, dude. What the fuck? I just showed you. The reason why I showed you what is going on in Lebanon earlier and how Israel so routinely fucking lies was to help you understand why Israel is exterminating every fucking Palestinian journalist and not allowing any Western journalists to go into Gaza. It is to shut off any and every fucking avenue of on-the-ground reporting as they conduct their ethnic cleansing campaign. Yes, they are doing an ethnic cleansing campaign, and yes, they are trying to do it in broad daylight at a time when people have access to this information. They have said over and over again, without any real evidence whatsoever, that the people, that the journalists that they execute are Hamas militants. They just lie about it. They want to shut off UNRWA funding. They lie and say, oh, UNRWA is Hamas. It's much easier to, stop people from seeing the truth if you just assassinate every fucking journalist that is working.
Israeli military today issued a very public threat. I think there's no other way of looking at it, that it is a threat to assassinate 6 Al Jazeera journalists who remain alive and reporting on this genocide inside of Gaza. The Israeli military has made these claims before, saying that journalists are actually members of Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And the Israeli government and military have a history for this past year of fabricating so-called evidence to try to link journalists and other civilians to Hamas or Islamic Jihad, or to portray them as terrorists. Some 170 plus media workers have been killed during the past year in Gaza. And all of us in media have an obligation to stand up for our Palestinian colleagues. There's a very clear reason why Israel has been killing journalists. And that's because the only media workers that are on the ground inside of Gaza are Palestinian media workers. They are the...
Yeah. Bound, barefoot, and blindfolded Palestinian abductees in Jabalia. What does this look like to you, man? Just so you know, anyone and everyone that's in North Gaza that is a male over the age of 18 is, or even younger than 18, is considered an enemy combatant right now because they are doing an ethnic cleansing campaign that they've accelerated in North Gaza in particular. Okay? If you're over the age of 16 and you haven't been destroyed by Israeli bombing campaigns, the soldiers come in, they line you up, they blindfold you, they bound your fucking feet, or they bound you, and then they march you in a death march to take you to a fucking concentration camp. Look at this crowd of innocent people. Yeah. The departure of Jabalia in full force. This may be the last time Gazans will see Jabalia again. Will be a militarized zone. This is a pro-Israeli account, the Mossad commentary account. Just so you understand, they're celebrating this. They are fucking celebrating like images, horrifying images that are identical at this point to fucking the Holocaust. Okay? I don't want to bring up the drama, but if your detractors don't mention any of the horror, I will have negative respect for them. Yeah, yeah, fuck the drama, okay? This is why I don't fucking talk about the drama itself and talk about what matters. This is what matters, okay? Yeah, it is not, I'll say this much. It is not shocking, nor is it surprising that so many Keemstar adjacent, supposedly quote-unquote centrist commentary channels that love drama have said not a single fucking thing about Israel-Palestine. That's too complicated for them. But they only tangentially offer coverage when there's time to just shit on prominent pro-Palestinian voices. I think they are, in the most cowardly way possible, letting their opinion be heard. Okay? That's it. Fuck all of that noise. Here comes the Jew hate again. Really? You see this. By the way, a Jewish person is posting this from fucking Israel, criticizing this, and your immediate answer to this, your immediate answer to looking at this is Jew hatred? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck does this have to do with Jewish people? Nazis look at this and go, Jews are responsible for this. And it seems so do ultra-Zionists. So do Zionists in general. One day, people will understand that me separating Zionism and Judaism is not because of anti-Semitism. It's the exact opposite. It's because Zionism is anti-Semitic. You have to be completely blinded to assume that people don't recognize, people don't see these images and think, wow, this is really fucked up. You have to be blinded when you see all of this and you then personally associate this with Judaism, and in some fucked up way in your mind, this is to defend Jews. Like, are you insane? It would be akin to me watching an ISIS beheading video and being like, that is for Islam. And if you criticize that, you are Islamophobic. What the fuck? But I think many people are confused by where this association comes from, especially in the Western world. Bestie Marks released a great video about the genocide of Palestine, in-depth history, Jordan's betrayal, the war myth, UNRWA, kibbutzim. Okay. IDF posted this again yesterday. Oh, yeah, the military pressure on the 162nd Division and on the area in the face of terrorists and terrorism is increasing. And at the time, the IDF is allowing citizens to evacuate for their own safety in a safe manner and through orderly routes. The breaking of the Hamas siege on Jabalia is manifested in tens of thousands of citizens evacuating the area since yesterday morning. Again, every single day, man-made horrors beyond human comprehension. Every single fucking day. We know full well. Like, I'll believe it when I fucking see it, okay? Imagine trying to deplatform American Arabs at the same time as the genocide when people talk about your silence. So you think anti-Semitism okay? We can condemn both things, my dude. I just, it's fine. It's just not. I don't fucking cover this from the drama angle, okay? Like, it's so stupid to offer any sort of credence. God damn, dude. Holy shit.